Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to our Shirin Sfas Emes, Parshas Teruma, Tavshin Peivav. We find this Sfas Emes in multiple places. Throughout our Parsha goes in and describes and explains that the avodah of building the Mishkan was not just an avodah that took place when Klal Yisrael was in the Midbar, and not just an avodah that continues with the building of the Mishkan in Eretz Yisrael and the building of the Beis HaMikdash, but it's an avodah that takes place to every single yid in every single generation. As Sfas Emes says Masber at the end of the Parsha, in the middle of the Parsha, throughout the Parsha, that the avodah of building a Mishkan and the avodah of a yichuli truma me'eskal isha sheyitvenu liba means the ability to find the Rabbanishim within the physical world. That a Mishkan is something which is temporary, which can be carried from place to place. A Mishkan means the ability that when a person's involved in kesef and zav, when a person's involved in financial things, when a person's involved in olam hazeh, a person is nevertheless able to go ahead and recognize that olam hazeh was only created through the medium of the Torah, istakal b'raisu bara alma, and the avodah of a yid is v'yichelu truma, to be able to go ahead and to be able to find that nakuda of chiyas, to be able to find that part of kedusha that's residing within the world, and v'yichelu truma, to go ahead and to bring that back to its source, back to the Rabbanu Shalom, thereby merging together the world of Shemayim and Aretz, connecting the world of Ruchnius and Gashmius, connecting those two worlds together. And that's why Sfas Emes says Ma'arich in many places throughout the Parsha that this is the Ikar Avodah of Asili Mikdash. V'shechanti b'seicha means that wherever a person goes, wherever a person travels, whatever a person's involved in, they go ahead and they make a Beis HaMikdash, being meyachid, connecting the world of Ruchnius and Gashmius, Shemayim and Aretz, connecting those two worlds together, which happens specifically through the medium of Moshe Rabbeinu, who's called Ish Elikim. As Chazal explained, Ish Elikim, from his waist and up, he was, so to speak, like a malach, and from his waist down, he was a human. Moshe Rabbeinu was the merging together of the two worlds, Shemayim and Aretz, and Moshe Rabbeinu goes ahead and Va'asili Mikdash V'shechanti B'seicham teaches every Yid in Klal Yisrael how to go ahead and merge together those two worlds through the building of the Mishkan. The Sfas Emes in his Maamarim and Tafresh Lamed Aleph on Purim says a fascinating thing, which obviously is not talking specifically about Parshas Teruma, but I think it's very appropriate and very connected to what the Sfas Emes describes as being the Ikar Avodah of the building of the Mishkan. Says the Heilige Sfas Emes, we know that when Haman, Harasha, went ahead and made a hippopur hua goyrel, made this goyrel to figure out when he wants to destroy Chalila, Klal Yisrael, he first began the goyrel by going through the 7 days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Kodesh, went through the 7 days of the week to see which day would be most appropriate to destroy Klal Yisrael. Says the Medrash, after Haman went through every day, he saw that none of the days he was going to be successful to wipe out Klal Yisrael. So what did he do? He went ahead and he said, okay, I'm not going to go ahead and be successful during the 7 days of the week, and therefore he began to go ahead and create a goyrel going through the months of the year, beginning with Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, going through the months of the year, seeing which month would be the most appropriate to wipe out Klal Yisrael. Frak the Heilige Sfas Emes, I don't understand. If Haman Harasha saw that the 7 days of the week he was not going to be able to be successful in, to go ahead and to destroy Klal Yisrael, what's his havamina that in the months he's going to be successful? Every month you can go ahead, whatever day of the month you're going to pick, whatever month you're going to pick, it's going to be on one of the 7 days of the week. If Haman had already seen that his girl was unsuccessful during all 7 days of the week, from Sunday to Shabbos Kodesh, none of those days were days that he was going to have the mazel to destroy Klal Yisrael. Why'd Haman go ahead and make a second girl? Why do you have a havamina? What was his thought process in thinking that in the Chadashim he's going to go ahead and be able to destroy Klal Yisrael? Says the Heilige Sfas Emes in Purim Tafresh Lamed Aleph, Amnam and Beis Misparim. The days of the week and the days of the month are two totally independent numbers. Mispar Yemei Shabbos, little b'Shabbos. The 7 days of the week are all connected to Shabbos. Minei Kol Yomim Mizborchen, as the Zohar Kadosh says, Shabbos is the source of all of the six other days of the week, and therefore Shabbos is the day that gives the chiyas, gives the vitality to all of the other 6 days of the week. Shabbos Kodesh is given to Klal Yisrael, and it's kfi of a kaima. It's something that has no shaykhis bechlal to Haman, no shaykhis to a goy. As Chazal say, a goy Shabbos is chayv misa. Shabbos is kfi of a kaima. Shabbos is the kedusha that's given to us as a matana toiva, yeshu bebeis gerazai, v'Shabbos shema. Shabbos is given to Klal Yisrael regardless of their madrega, regardless of what they're doing. Shabbos is not something that we create. Shabbos is given to us as a direct gift from the Rabbanu Shalom to us. Shabbos is kfi v'kaima. Haman originally began during the 7 days of the week, but he can't touch us on the 7 days of the week. Why? Because the 7 days of the week mean kedusha. The 7 days of the week mean Shabbos Kodesh, the expansion of Shabbos Kodesh into the 6 days of the week. And Mamela, Haman doesn't have the ability to go ahead and touch us. But says this Sfas Emes, Acha Chodesh Nimsal b'nei Yisrael. The Chodesh, Rosh Chodashim, were given over to Klal Yisrael. As we go ahead, and I'm going to lay the Parshas Boy, HaChodesh Hazeh Lechem Rosh Chodashim, that the first mitzvah that Klal Yisrael got was the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. Shabbos is the Rabban Hashem's domain. The 6 days of the week which come and get their chiyas from Shabbos Kodesh, Haman doesn't have the ability to touch. But the days of the month, Haman has the ability to go ahead and to try to stir Klal Yisrael, to try to destroy Klal Yisrael, because the days of the month are given over to Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is Makadosh HaChodesh. Klal Yisrael has the ability to be Makadosh HaChodesh, and the Melo Haman says, when Klal Yisrael is not living up to their life's mission, when they're not being Makadosh HaChodesh, I have the ability, says Haman, to go ahead and to try to destroy Klal Yisrael. Although in the 6 days of the week, I'm not going to be successful because they get their chiyas from Shabbos Kodesh, but the days of the month, which have to do with Klal Yisrael, Chodesh Hazeh Lochem Rosh Chodashim, given over to Klal Yisrael, the Klal Yisrael is Makadosh HaChodesh. Klal Yisrael goes ahead as Makadosh Yisrael v'Chodashim, the Mela, Rosh Chodashim and Mela, Haman thinks that he has the ability to go ahead and destroy it. Says this Sfas Emes, what's the difference between Shabbos Kodesh and the 6 days of the week? Shabbos Kodesh is Lamala Min Teva. Shabbos Kodesh is above and beyond space, above and beyond time. Shabbos Kodesh is above Teva. Shabbos Kodesh, Haman does not have the ability to touch. What is Chodesh? What's the avoid of Klal Yisrael? The Chodesh is Elechem, Rosh Chodashim. What was Klal Yisrael given as the first mitzvah? The ability not to rise above nature, but the ability to be able to bring Kedusha down into nature. HaChodesh is Elechem. The days of the month are not connected to that world of Lamalam and Ateva, not connected to that world of Shabbos, but rather connected to the world of Rosh Chodesh. They're connected to the world of HaChodesh is Elechem, Rosh Chodashim. Klal Yisrael's avoided to go ahead and to be Mamshech Eschadshus into the Teva Atzmai, into nature itself, to draw down Eschadshus, to draw down Kedusha, to draw down spirituality into the physical world. That is our Ikar Avoida. Says this Sfas Emes, Haman can't touch Shabbos Kodesh, and Haman has no problem, essentially, with Klal Yisrael rising above nature, rising to the place of Kedusha, of Shabbos Kodesh. But you know what Haman has a problem with? Zehaya Ikar Sinas Haman Arasha, Hepech Meshem Tzadik. You know what Haman Arasha hates? Haman Arasha hates the ability for Klal Yisrael to draw Kedusha down to the place of Gashmias, which is the Ikar Avodah of a Tzaddik. The Tzaddik is Kikol B'Shamayim of Haaretz. The Tzaddik is the Achad B'Shamayim of Ara. The Tzaddik is one that draws down Kedusha down to the physical world. Haman is a Rasha. A Rasha is Kameis. A Rasha cuts himself off from the source of Chiyas, the source of vitality in this world, which is bringing Kedusha down to this world. Haman doesn't have any shaykhs at that Bechlal. Umafar Ateva and Achiyas Shalamala. Haman wants to separate the physical world from the Kedusha, from the Sherish, from the Chiyas that's coming up from the Rabban Shalom. Memelo Haman goes ahead and Haman says, Klal Yisrael's Avodah is Chodesh. I may not be able to go ahead and wipe them out in the place of Shabbos Kodesh, and that's not even Haman's Ikar Sinah. Haman's Ikar Sinah against Klal Yisrael is their ability to be able to go ahead and draw down Kedusha down to the physical world. Like Klal Yisrael asked before they were attacked by Amalek, yes, Hayesh Hashem bekarbeinu am ayin. Is Rabban Hashem amongst us? Can we bring the Kedusha down here? As soon as they doubted, Hayesh Hashem bekarbeinu am ayin, right away, Amalek comes to attack them because Amalek hates that question. Haman and Amalek hate the question of drawing Kedusha down to the physical world, which is the avodah that Klal Yisrael got when they became free people. Achodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodashim. Draw Kedusha, draw Schachos down into the physical days of the month. Draw Schachos down into the physicality of the world. Haman hates that, and Haman tries to destroy us. Says this Sfas Emes, this is what Haman tried to go ahead and to say about Klal Yisrael, but ultimately was unsuccessful. Haman said, Yeshnai am echad mefuzar u'mefurah beina amim. What was he saying? He was saying there's a nation that's spread out amongst the nations. Says this Sfas Emes, he didn't realize, and what he was really saying was Yeshnai am echad. There's an am that's able to remain echad. There's an am that's able to remain one with ruchnius, even when they're mafuzar mafurid. Shemavina achtas gam b'toich hapizur. They're able to bring the unity between Shemayim and Aretz, between Ruchnius and Gashmius, between the Guf and the Neshama, even when they're mafuzar mafurid, even when they're in Golas, the avoid and the Golas that they had to be able to find the Kuda achtas gam b'toich hateva azay yecharolei. This is what he's angry at. This is what he's telling Achashverosh. I need to destroy Klal Yisrael because they have a shaykhs to the days of the month. They have a shaykhs to drawing kedusha down to the physical world, and they're yeshnei am echad mefuzar u'mafurid beina amim. Says this Sfas Emes, this is our avodah. This is how we wipe out Haman. The way that we wipe out Haman is with the recognition that our avodah, Befrat and Golas, specifically during the challenges of being mefuzah mefurid, is to be yeshnei am echad, to draw kedusha down to the place that we are. That even when we're not able to rise to the level of Shabbos Kodesh, to get above this world, to be able to be l'malam and teva, but our ikra avodah is a chodesh hazel lachem reish chadashim. Klal Yisrael's avodah is to go on and to draw kedusha down to this world. Shabbos Kodesh is when the Rabban Hashem gives us the ability to rise above this world. Rish Chodesh is when we have the ability to draw kedusha down into this world, down into the physical world. This is, as we said, what the avodah of building the Mishkan is. This is what Haman hates, and this is our avodah during the month of Adar. Enzo of the Heligas Fasemes. This is why we find Mishenichnas Adar Marba Misimcha at the beginning of the month already. Why? Because as it says in the Megillah, V'chodesh asher neshapech. It's the chodesh which is nahapech from Yagel Simcha. The chodesh changed around. Not just one day of the month, not just the day of the month that Purim happened on, got taken from a day of sadness, a day which could have been a tremendous tragedy and turned into a day of simcha, but b'chodesh asher nahapech shegam b'schinas es chadshus b'toich hatava nasa aneis ki yeshem achizel amolik v'haman v'neshapech l'toiv. What Haman wanted to wipe out the idea of a chodesh, the idea of the days of the month, and we have the ability through the koich of Purim not to change one day, not just to go out and say, okay, one day is going to be elevated in Yontif, but the ability to be able to draw down kedusha into the days of the month, and the whole chodesh, the whole month itself, is able to go ahead and be turned around from being a regular mundane month, so to speak, to being a month which is filled with kedusha, which is filled with the simcha that he is able to feel when he's able to connect the world of ruchnis and gashmis together. This is our avodah v'asili mikdash v'shechante b'seichem, that wherever we go, to take the kitan echad, to take the echad yeshnei am echad mefuzah mefurid, and to reveal the Rabban Hashem with everything that we're involved in. Haman and Amalek get wiped out when we do this, and this is our ikar bikash and our ikar avodah during the time of ikvis and the Mashiach, when we go ahead, we're trying to wipe out Amalek for once and for all, that ain't shmoy shalom, that ain't kisei shalom, until the zari shalom Amalek are wiped out. Our ikar avodah and ikvis and the Mashiach is to reveal the Rabban Hashem wherever we are. To say that, of course, we love Shabbos Kodesh, of course, we love rising above and getting that gift of being brought into the Rabban Hashem's inner chambers, but our avodah befrat when we're golas, and we're not able to go ahead and to rise above Teva, is to bring the kedusha into the place of Teva, to be able to go ahead and to wait for Yom Shekul Shabbos, to wait for that day when we'll be able to rise above Teva, but until then to draw kedusha into the world of Teva, to be miyachid, the world of ruchnis and gashmis, the neshama and the guf, shemayim and aretz, and to be able to go ahead and create a mishkan and a beis hamikdash wherever we are. Hashem should help. We should be zeiche to reveal Hashem in everything that we do. And by doing that, we'll be zeiche to wipe out Amalek for once and for all, and be zeiche to the gilui of Shabbos Kodesh, of Yom Shekula Shabbos, with the Binyomin beis hamikdash hashlishi, the great Shabbos.